Shweta Kishore, and with me today is Sanjay Joshi. He's a founding member of Cinema Resistance, which is a traveling film festival initiative started in North India. I first met Sanjay in 2013 when I was researching Indian documentary practices, particularly circulation, and I learned about his extraordinary film festival series. And what was immediately striking to me was the commitment to political cinema, to documentary. It's a field of operation which was not metropolitan towns, but regional and rural towns. And it's fairly kind of unique and participatory model of organization. So I'll be talking to Sanjay about these topics today. Sanjay, let us start with your background and involvement with Cinema Resistance, and tell us how you got interested in the idea of a film festival.
So, and my father and my mother, especially my mother was a SFI activist in her student age, and she was a student leader of SFI unit Ajmer. And my father, he was also associated with the left politics, and he came to Allahabad in 1955 and joined Progressive Writers Association in Allahabad. And he used to work in a factory. It was a army-based workshop. And he was also active in trade union. So I am fortunate enough that from my parent side, I got influence of Indian left. And I did my graduation from Allahabad. And in Allahabad, we had a very active film society, Allahabad University Film Society. And its convener was Professor M.C. Chattopadhyay. He was professor of chemistry. So it was a very elite group. Say, we have a 16 mm projector and a small hall to accommodate not more than 40 people. And there were not more than 40 people in Allahabad to appreciate Disika or Bugman, or some people call Bearman, not Bugman. So they call Bearman, and then Truffaut. And so fortunately, I have seen most of the European classics, which was an essential part of the film society movement initiated by P.K. Nair Saab through the National Film Archive, through Film Institute Pune's appreciation course. So we were lucky enough that we have seen Bicycle Thieves, then Diamond and Ashes, and 400 Blows, and North by Northwest, Citizen Kane, all the classics of European cinema, and also Ray and Ghatak and Shyam Benegal. My passion or my dream was to get enrolled with National School of Drama because I was associated with a theatre group called Dasta in Allahabad, and it was associated with People's Student Organization, which later became All India Student Association, ISA. In 1990, it merged with ISA. So our convener, Mr. Uday Yadav, he was very passionate about starting a repertory. So in Allahabad, we were discussing that we will have a repertory, and then we will start doing proscenium also. So my aim was to get admitted in National School of Drama because from my group, Tigmanshu Dhulia joined NSD and he was senior to 3-4 years in Dasta. So I didn't get admission because there you need 10 plays as to apply in NSD. So there was a shortcut. I applied masters in JNU in Hindi literature because that was the only subject where I was confident that I will get admission. Though I was not a Hindi student in BA, I had economics, philosophy, and history, but I was sure and I was advised by my elder brother Pratul that you will not get admission in history and other any social sciences subject. You apply for Hindi, and it was not mandatory to have Hindi in graduation for the JNU. So I came to JNU by chance and with a design to get admission in NSD. And when I joined JNU, JNU had a very strong film society culture. We had a film society movement. We have a film club, and in JNU's old campus, there's a Russian Center for Russian Studies. So we have a small theater, Russian Center, and there we have seen lots of interesting films. Like in Allahabad, I didn't get chance to see Hungarian films, but in Delhi, I got a chance to see Zoltan Fabri, Martha Mezeres, and I saw one very interesting film. I didn't remember the director's name. The film's title I still remember, Romance for a Bigul. It was a gypsy film. So these film, and I saw lots of Bunwell film and lots of Godard film. And then that time in 89-90, in Delhi, this Pragati Madan, they have a regular film screening, offbeat film screening. So in that Pragati Madan Shakuntalam theater, I have seen whole of Disika for free. Only to get, you have to buy 1 rupee for entry ticket, and Disika was free. So I have seen Roof, then Yesterday, Today, Tomorrow, most of the, I think 11 Disika films. And mind you, this is a no mobile time. So we have no engagement, no Facebook, no WhatsApp, no Instagram. Then in Shakuntalam only, I got a chance to see Indian documentaries. There I saw Kutti Japan, Reena Mohan's Kamla Bai, and then Sabji Mandi Ke Heere, Diamonds of Vegetable Market by Nilita Vachani. I think Eyes of Stone also, and then Voices from Baliyapal. So gem of Indian documentaries. So these influences changed my mind, and simultaneously I started watching NSD plays. And at a point I thought, no, NSD to theek hai. It's not so good. I was dreaming in Allahabad. And in 89, I applied for Film Institute Pune while doing my master's in JNU in Hindi. I applied for direction course, and somehow I passed the written examination. I got a chance for a 7-day appreciation course. In those times in FTI, they used to have a 7-day film appreciation. During that appreciation, they select the candidates for the final seat. So in those 7 days, I really hooked with the magic of cinema, and somehow I didn't get chance, didn't get admission in that time and next time also. So next year again I applied, but somehow I didn't get. But while completing my master's, I make up mind that I'm not going for Hindi academics, but I want to do something with cinema. And someone told me that since you are applying for Film Institute, why don't you apply Jamia also? I didn't know about Jamia, and especially about the MCRC course. So very casually, I applied Jamia, and somehow I got admission in Jamia also. So, so there's a major shift from theater to academics. And the same time, I got admission in MPhil also. Uh, MPhil, I got second admission, and in Jamia, I got admission. So I chose Jamia, and Jamia was really very, very fascinating. And we had a wonderful honorary director, Jamal Saab, Anwar Jamal Kidwai, and now Jamia is named after him, Anwar Jamal Kidwai Mass Communication Center. So in Jamia, there's an explosion of documentaries, and especially the influence of Shohini Ghosh's classes. Shohini was very, very keen to show new cinema to her students, and also the whole Jamia ambience, MCRC ambience, was very supportive. So if you want to make something, you want to see something. So somehow I I did 2 year training from in mass communication, and then I started watching the films. In in all these years, I was doing one job continuously, watching the cinema.
So that is what I wanted to ask you. From being a student of cinema and being a spectator, what was the trigger to go and become into film festivals, to become an organizer, and to start a film festival series?
Yeah. Um, uh, that time in 1990s, uh, we had a very regular film festival in Delhi, International Film Festival. It used to held in Delhi, and somehow we managed to get the passes. Sometime we make photocopy of the delegate passes, because lots of FTI students used to stay in JNU hostel. So that was the regular input and of word cinema. And in different Delhi center like Max Muller Bhavan or Alliance de Française or Hungarian Center or JNU, we get the I get the documentary cinema. After mass communication, I did some work for NGO. I made some documentaries, and while one film on water crisis in Vidisha, Madhya Pradesh, I got this very bizarre feedback from the executive director of that particular NGO that I want this, I want this. But he said, I don't want any negative perspective. But I said to that gentleman, but boss, the situation is grim and we are making a film on the crisis, water crisis. So it has to start with the grim perspective. But he said, no, I don't want. So then I thought, what I'm doing, I'm making films for some other organization. I'm not making my film. So somehow I thought, if I want to make my kind of film, so I have to make my kind of audience. So basically, this idea behind Film Festival is came after working with NGOs for 5 years, rigorously making many films, many photographic assignment. So at one point, I left the NGO work, and then four friend of us, we made a company called Weekend Films, and we organize a whole day session for children and their world, in which we curated one play for children, one feature film, Iranian feature film, one painting exhibition, by children. So one of my friend who was then secretary of Jan Sanskriti Manch Uttar Pradesh, Pranay Krishna, he was, I have invited him and he watched whole the session. Then I made a film for Sahitya Academy on Hindi short story writer Amar Khan. Then again I traveled with that film. So while in 2005 they were planning to include new art form and they were organizing a meeting in Allahabad, a 2-day meeting to take new initiative. And they also invited me to join the meeting and give input. So that meeting in September 2005 is very crucial for the birth of Cinema of Resistance.
What were some of the aims, perhaps, or objectives and some principles that you were thinking about when you were planning this initiative?
Yes. See, the major concern was the independence of the idea, and then comes the independence of the fund. So somehow I was clear that if we have our audience, and if that particular audience can support the film, the idea, then you will make your kind of film. And I had this great history in Indian filmmaking, that we had a very interesting Odisha film movies movement in Kerala in 1980s. And I was a great fan of John Abraham, his iconic film Amma Aryan, and this Odisha movies. So Odisha movies was a reference point for me. And I was invited by Jan Sanskriti Manch. So Jan Sanskriti Manch is also an organization which also believes in total participation of audience, and also believe in total in pro people funding. So when I participated in Allahabad in September 2005 meeting, I was looking for a platform which can entertain this independent film activism kind of idea. And at the same time, they were also wanted to include some new initiative which will be more effective among the new audience in the new time. And mind you, this is the time when one by one this single screen hall being shut, and we are having multiplex first in big cities, then in middle level cities, then in the second tier city. So somehow this was a natural marriage between Jan Sanskriti Manch idea and this idea of independent filmmaking via independent film cinema activism.
So this is a very interesting idea about maintaining independence through not getting sponsorship, which creates a tension between independence and funding, and in fact involving people and creating a different kind of support base for the film festival. So I wanted to sort of talk about that. How do you involve people in the basic organization of the festival? Normally there, in a film festival, you have the organizing committee, and then there is the audience. But in your festival, that is not the case. Quite often there is a blurring of, the organizer and the audience. So I want to sort of talk about how you think about the audience and how, you kind of create a feeling or create ways to involve them in the festival.
Right. One thing is very clear, Shweta, that we are not film appreciation agency. So we are basically a new type of cultural group and practicing not very new thing. This idea of people's funding is not very new thing. It's old practice. It was there in our society. It was very much there. So we had this wonderful Odisha movies, which I said earlier. So in Cinema of Resistance Film Festival, there's no hierarchy. So it's a marriage between different ideas. So from the very first film festival, we made a two-tier system. One tier is a core team, which is more into cinema curation, filmmaking, and updated with the new trends in cinema. And then there is a team, local team aspiring to start a new culture. So in our many film festival, it's not only film festival. It has full fledged theater also. It has dance performance also. It has painting exhibition. It has poetry session, mushaira, one act play, discussions, many things. So what we did, we made this two-tier, and we always ask the local team, what you want to curate? What is your priorities? Which theme you want to focus? So then they suggest some their priorities, like in Bhilai in 2009, when we were organizing second Bhilai Film Festival, they made a special request that please include a film around sanitary worker. And if you have a women sanitary worker, it is more than good. So we curated Amunan Ramlingam Pushpan film, popular film, a very important film, Shit. So it is always a two-tier system, and we never, from the core team, we never impose our idea. Yes, I can admit that the curation of first Cinema of Resistance Film Festival, which is first Gorakhpur Film Festival, that curation was very, very Sanjay Joshi centric. Whatever I have seen in Delhi, from Truffaut to Ray to Ghatak to Kurosawa, I made a curation, and that was not a good curation. But later, when we grew up, when we learned so many things from our partners, we made it vice versa. So they give some idea and we give some idea, then we reach to some point. So this is the essence of Cinema of Resistance curation.
One of the, when I was at Salimpur, I also noticed, and I suppose I'll frame it in a different way. And, for a film festival, things like technology, space, marketing, publicity, promotion, all of these are usually obstacles, because especially for a film festival that is not seeking sponsorship or grants. I noticed that in your, film festivals, these things are also managed very creatively. Can you tell us a little bit about how you build kind of partnerships to address all of these kind of elements?
Yeah, your observation is very right, and I'm happy to share this thing because this had happened because we were clear from day one that we will not take any big funding from any organization, be it an NGO or government organization or private company. And why it was decided so? Because we want to reach people. And if you want to reach people, if you believe in people, then you will plan this model. And I can tell you many, many interesting stories that how we did it. From 4th Gorakhpur Film Festival in year 2009, we shifted from university's auditorium to the city, because in 2009 we wanted to invite Arundhati Roy as a keynote speaker. While hearing Arundhati Roy's name, university authorities somehow declined the offer, and then we compelled to move to city, and we hired a very costly marriage banquet hall. It was primarily a marriage banquet hall with big windows. So it was not a cinema hall, and we need dark for showing cinema. That is the most essential qualification of a cinema show. And that time we had a very interesting member, Arif Aziz Lenin Saab. Arif Aziz Lenin was a school teacher, and he was also very active IPATA member, Indian People's Theatre Association member, and he was a practicing theatre activist. He has seen lots of blackboards in his school in the kabad. So he persuaded his principal not to sell this kabad, and to donate these blackboard to Arif Aziz Lenin. For our surprise, in 5th Gorakhpur Film Festival or 6th Gorakhpur Film Festival, Arif Aziz Lenin covered all the window, at least 20 big windows, with these acquired blackboard. So if you believe in people, you get resources. When in 2008, when we planned to invite MS Sathyu with his cult film Garam Hawa, and mind you, Gorakhpur is a laboratory of Hindu Rashtra. So showing Garam Hawa is very, very critical and very, very important and impressive in Gorakhpur. When Dr. Gupta, he is elder brother of our founder member, Dr. Chandbhushan Ankur, when he heard this conversation that we are planning to invite Mr. Sathyu, he came from his bedroom and drawing room. Manoj Singh was discussing with Chandbhushan Ankur, and he said, "Oh, you are inviting MS Sathyu. Great, you will be showing Garam Hawa. Okay, then I want to sponsor one day expenses. Whatever expenses on food and dinner and snacks, that will be sponsored by me, and tell me what will be the amount." So Manoj was zapped, and he told him a amount, "Sir, 5,000 will be enough." In few seconds, Dr. Gupta gifted Manoj 5,000 cash. So I think this idea of no funding survived us, and it not only survived us, it made the great connection between cinema and the people. Because when you are dependent on your audience, then you will do all kind of efforts to communicate your cinema, your film to the audience, in curation level also, or while screening also. Like, I will give you one example. We were showing Voices from Baliyapal in Balia, and Balia is a small town. It's a classic Hindi speaking town. So when I saw that people are going out from the hall, but the film is very interesting. So I started doing the live translation of Voices from Baliyapal by Vasudha Joshi and Ranjan Palit. And that live translation stopped the exit of people. So I think the idea was to bring cinema to its people, to its audience. So this no sponsorship, meaning making more friends, making films friendly for the audience, and independent curation.
Yes, and I when you're talking about the people, what I'm also thinking about is, of course, now it has expanded, but initially, and for a big part of the festival's history, you have focused on not on the metropolitan audiences and let's say Delhi or Calcutta or Bombay, but you've focused on audiences who live in smaller towns, in regional towns, even sometimes in rural areas. What was the reason that you felt that was the best place for this kind of a cultural intervention?
Because I grew up in Delhi watching cinema, so I don't think there was no need of opening a new film society in Delhi. Delhi has lots of film society, from different embassies to university film club to independent film clubs. Same with Kolkata or Mumbai or Chennai or Bangalore. So the first connection was because we have our organizational base. Like in the initial years, we were working with Jan Sanskriti Manch, and Jan Sanskriti Manch has its natural base in a small town. So that was the natural choice. Second thing, these towns, the demand is much more in these towns because they have never seen a different kind of film. Gorakhpur is a headquarter of Eastern Railway. It has hundreds of acres of railway property. It has a very big university. It has an engineering college, and it is also the center of Bhojpuri cinema, which is known as a Bollywood. But it don't have a single independent film screening before start of our film festival. So it was a natural choice. Allahabad was a natural choice because Allahabad had a very strong film society movement. But with the old age of Professor M.C. Chattopadhyay, that movement was also not very active. Same with Banaras, Patna. Patna had a very strong theater movement, but not the cinema movement. So all these places, there was a instant chance of success or adaptability of the idea. Also, in all these places, we had some kind of organizational connection. Some people, one people, two people, three people, some organization, some literary group, because you can't start any idea in air. No, you need some base, some support. So and when it is started, so with the mouth publicity, with publicity of our brochure, with the newspaper report, then if it viral with different cities. But initially it started with the Jan Sanskriti Manch base, and all these cities, they have no cultural institution. Allahabad had a very strong literary tradition till 70s, till 80s, till 90s. So this was the This was the reason.
And what is also interesting is that in many of these cities or towns where you have the festival, people are not only coming to watch the films, but there are different types of effects taking place. I know that you were talking to me before about in some cities, people have restarted or started some kind of film societies, or there are also filmmakers now who are inspired when they see that their local content can be screened at a film festival. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
True. I think I want to quote late Kundan Shah, and Kundan Shah and Saeed Mirza visited, I think, fourth or fifth Gorakhpur Film Festival in 2009 or 10. So during after the festival in the evening, when we had a casual chat with Kundan, Aziz, Saeed Mirza, and many of the other filmmakers and the film society activists, Kundan said this very interesting, made a very interesting remark. He said, I am observing that one person is maintaining the clock, that if this film is scheduled for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 hour, 5 minutes, then it has to start by 10.5. One person is managing the curtains. One person is managing the registration desk. He said it is something else. It is not a film festival. So it's true, Shweta, that it's not only a film festival. Basically, it's a different kind of cultural festival. Gorakhpur Film Festival is a film festival. Also, it's a meeting place for all the activists in the neighboring 300-kilometer region to meet at least once in a year during 4-day festival. So during the festival, I saw many people, they don't watch all the films. Sometimes they watch the film, sometimes they are discussing, sometimes they are, and like there's one education activist, Chatruanand Ojha. So he always put his banner. So he is demanding some regularization of government teachers. Then there is some banner of some human rights group. So it's a place for it's an independent place, open place for different voices. That's why you have seen lots of publications stalls in our film festival. If you go through the reports of our film festival, there's always some release in support of some movement. Also, what this film festival, this new kind of film watching culture did, like when we show this film in Lucknow Film Society, Lucknow Film Festival, this film by Nitin Pamnani, which also got this golden conch in Mumbai International Film Festival, I'm Your Poet, Main Tumhara Kavi Hoon. So they also had a poet, Kashna Almi, in Lucknow. So this Lucknow Film Society made a different film, totally influenced by Nitin Pamnani in this film. When this Nainital Film Society wanted to dedicate their festival to Nirmal Pandey, because Nirmal Pandey, the film actor from Mumbai, he is from Nainital. He is from the same group, which is a partner with us, Yugmanch. So they wanted to dedicate the festival to Nirmal Pandey. So they made a film. And then they made a film on Girda, the other iconic poet from Nainital. Then this women group in Nainital, especially Uma Bhatt, editor of women's magazine Uttra, she watched lots of women-centric film, Other Song, For Maya, So she was influenced with this idea of women theme. And then later in 2013, she produced a film. She spent almost 4 lakhs. The amount is almost equal to the PSBT amount. And she gave that money, and I was the executive producer of that film. Sanjay Mattu, my Jamia batchmate, was the director, and Apal is Jamia batchmate, is the camera person, and Shika Sen, our Jamia senior, was the film editor. So she arranged 4 lakh rupees, and her name is there in the film as a executive producer. So when we screened the film, and you were there in Salempur, Gadi Lohardaga Mail. So in the question answer session, people said, we also have a Barhajia train which travels between Barhaj to Bhatni, and we also want to make a film like Gadi Lohardaga Mail. So if your film festival can influence, can generate, can excite people about the new idea, I think your work is done. There are many more stories. So these are few interesting stories.
Yeah, and I think this is the remarkable aspect of this festival is how it becomes a very participatory, collaborative space where people are not fixed in one position. They can move. They can also become filmmakers. They can also participate in the organizing of the festival. They can also watch films. And I also, the idea of a festival is a celebration. It is about celebration, and I noticed that that is the atmosphere at the festival. That there is an atmosphere of celebration. I wanted to, sort of talk about this atmosphere and how you generate this atmosphere, because it's not, it doesn't come only from films. And I want to kind of talk about how you connect the film festival to the local cultural practices, maybe, and their own cultural expression.
Yeah, I think Shweta, the main point is the funding. Suppose if we accept the funding after first film festival, we got an offer from Oxfam. Suppose if we accepted 10 lakhs from Oxfam, then it naturally created a hierarchy. So if your festival is based on rejection of funding, it will never create a hierarchy. And we were always very conscious that we will not create any kind of hierarchy. We were clear in our mind, all the activists who are giving time, that we will not get money from these festivals. This will never be our bread and butter. We have to earn. This is our passion, and doing this we enjoy. We love doing this, and if we can make films from people's contribution, and we made 4 or 5 films, which I will talk later. So see, what is the practice of organizing? Say Gorakhpur is our the main festival, so we did lots of experiment with Gorakhpur. So how we organize Gorakhpur Film Festival? Generally, before 3 months or 6 months from the start of festival, the Gorakhpur Film Society convener organize a meeting. And first meeting is a large meeting. He invites people not from Gorakhpur, from the 300-kilometer radius region. So suppose in that meeting 60 people came. So those 60 people, they are the natural partner of the festival. So the day one, you have 60 partner. Then we make, suppose 200 receipt for the collection, and we distribute everybody, and we advise people to reach maximum people. Don't get donation from a single person, because if a single person gives you a big amount, then he or she will demand his or her stake. Actually, you have to disseminate your ownership. You have to expand your ownership. And what we achieved in Cinema of Resistance, we have expanded ownership. So this is, I think, this is the key point of Cinema of Resistance idea. And because of this, there are many film festivals influenced by our activism, and people know them as a Cinema of Resistance film festival also, and which is not a good thing. But if there is any independent screening in North India, people thought it's a Cinema of Resistance, and we did lots of effort. Like many of times, we have curated weak films. We know that it's a weak film, but we have curated because we want to expand our ownership. Many of times we have shown raw footage. We have shown raw footage of Nakul Singh Sahni's film Muzaffarnagar Baki Hai, because it was very, very required. So, and this happened because there was nobody to look after our curation. There was no Ford Foundation or any foundation to go through our curation. So if it is important, we have included entries in the last minute. We have adjusted the schedule. Whereas in many film festivals, we have never asked entry fee. That was a big respite to the new filmmaker, and we never made any category: short film, long film, music video, animation. So it's a very, very open film festival. We always focus that we will never screen a anti-people film, and also we encourage live communication between the audience and the filmmaker. I remember one very interesting anecdote from our first Patna Film Festival in, I think, 2009. There was a 8-time national award documentary filmmaker who was invited by our Patna team, and he made a film on this flood situation in Kosi River. When during the interaction session, there was a critical question from the audience. Then he very rudely cut the audience question, and he said, "You can't ask this question." After this, immediately I took the mic from the director and I told him, "Sorry, you are here to answer the question." And I asked the gentleman, the audience, I'm like, "Please ask whatever you want to ask. You are free to ask anything." And the director is compelled to give the answer. So I think this freedom we have acquired through our no big funding decision policy, and vis-a-vis the organic participation of the audience. There are many more stories which I will pen down in future months in a long book.
I just coming now to some of the contemporary sort of conditions in India at the moment, and the current climate where we are seeing changes in the censorship laws. We are also seeing greater surveillance. We're seeing also other types of policing, vigilante kind of action and policing of culture. Uh, Misinformation, all those, with all of these elements on the rise, how is the festival responding to these challenges?
It's a very difficult, tough time, Shweta. It's a very, very tough time. Censorship is not only from the government institutions. Sometimes it is from within yourself also, and that is very, very depressing, because your friends being jailed, murdered, and you are getting no support. So this is also time to change yourself, to radicalize yourself. So we have, in the last 4-5 years, we have changed, say 70% what we did previously. Now we focus on small screens. Now we focus in disseminating content. We are giving films to the people. And we are very, very thankful to our fellow filmmakers who have faith in us, and they had given us permission that we can share their content. And this, we are also convincing other filmmakers, it is important to disseminate your file, because the police can't enter in your bedroom, in your laptop, in your mobile. So we have to, for some time, we have to distance ourselves from the big festivals. So now we are going to the people's drawing room, and we are also working on a new idea. This is called cinema Raksak cinema. Like you need a rucksack, a mid-sized rucksack, which will have a small projector, small speakers, a laptop, and a curtain, and 2 sets of clothes, few cables, extension cord. That's all. And then you travel. So you can create a cinema hall if you get the power. You just need dark, and you need a power supply. So I think it is important to disseminate. I think important thing is, it is not important how many festivals we are doing, in how many places we are organizing film festival. The important thing is now in how many places the content has been reached. And then you prepare modules, you prepare small booklets, the guidebooks, the technical guidebooks, and you organize in between, you organize workshops. What is the importance of DAR? What is the importance of good sound? How to introduce a film? If your audience is not getting, translate, do the live translation, stop the film. So we are doing lots of these innovations. It's a difficult time. We know that one day, if this regime will continue, we'll also in Tihar organizing a film festival in Tihar. So I think this latest experiment of ours is cinema in school, which we started in from a Uttarakhand school to influence the curriculum, or to make independent curriculum, cinema curriculum, to influence the school management, to influence the teacher, the faculty, and if your class 11, 12, or 9, 10, 11, 12, if you are working for 4 years, then after 12, you will get the right kind of student for the film study. So we are doing lots of things, and it's a really tough time because there's a no comparison between joy of live screening. When you do a live screening, when you interact with the audience, uh, then you have a different journey, different energy. But now we have changed a lot ourselves.
Yes, I think this is the key. The live screening that is so important in the sense that it allows people to gather together, and cinema is a collective viewing. It is a form of collective viewing experience, and I think this is something to really remember, that while we are the online world offers us opportunities and a different way to disseminate cinema. The place of the physical gathering of people still retains a different type of energy and a different type of politics. So these are, I mean, my questions are over. Is there anything, Sanjay, that you want to add that I've missed?
I just want to add the last point, that one should enjoy showing cinema. It is an independent art form. So don't feel inferior that you are not making film, you're not getting award for making a film. So if you're showing film, you're also making a film. Showing cinema, that ambience is also a different kind of film. So you should enjoy your screening activism. And if you enjoy showing cinema, then you will able your audience with the cinema. Then you will try different method to connect your audience with the cinema, and the joy is immense. The response is unlimited, and the journey is extraordinary. This is the last thing I want to add, and also a big thanks from Cinema of Resistance to all the organizations who are interested in our work. And I hope with this conversation, with this seminar, more people will come to this idea, and more people will support us, and more people will support independent film culture. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Sanjay.